their advantage. Really excited to see if they can use it and maybe come out on top. We're going to be dropping into this game in just a few seconds here. 7 games led up to this moment. The road to TwitchCon led up to this moment. TwitchCon, let's see who has what it takes to be our number 1 in Challengers game number 1.
I'm super hyped to see this get going. And I don't think we're going to see any fist fights, but I think we're going to see some great gameplay.
I think we're definitely going to see some crazy shots rain on out, and as we can see, the break seems to be relatively centralized around PV. Jumping on right now with Sharky.
Yeah, Sharky going to be able to get that cop car here, and he's going to get out. And Moose and Myhoos also going to find himself a Jeep. We'll see if he decides to just drive away. Both those players are going to drive away. Dramas, who landed and decided to go for a gun. So that's one of those things you got to decide if you want to go for. Do I want to drop in, go for a weapon, or do I want to drop in, go for the car? And Impact Logan going to realize that that building has already been touched, knows that somebody's here, is going to go ahead and take off. Logan, who showed up really strong previously, and the first kill is going to come out. Halmu JP, who's one of the guys from the road to TwitchCon, gonna get the first kill of the match here on I'm Soul C.
Yeah, and he actually looked like he was a little bit down in this fight. Now he's gonna be a little bit of a bathroom hero here, but as you already did allude to, he's one of the road to TwitchCon people, so he actually he qualified before the other players actually queued up in line and played in those qualifier series. He qualified at the Tokyo Game Show, I believe, so he's been hanging out for a little while. That was a little while back, so he knew that he was going to be playing here, and that was quite a difficult tournament to qualify in. It was a similar setup that you could just queue up in line and try to play. You didn't have quite as much time to actually figure out if your peripherals are all set to your liking and all of that. So now with everything in his favor, this is going to be his first game though here at TwitchCon, so he does need to get a little bit used to it. Now we're jumping on board with Mocket Pone. And we saw Pone just do some incredible things throughout this day.
Yeah, we also saw just a minute ago, though, Fist in the Wind went down. That was one of our winner of Game 1 yesterday, so we did lose another guy there in the middle of that. But again, going back to the road to TwitchCon, I mean, that was a completely different environment as well. These guys are pre-qualified in, so all these guys that are playing in this match against them have not had to compete or shoot at these guys yet in this tournament. A couple of them were pre-qualified in from those events. And on both sides, both this event currently that we're playing and that one, these guys are not able to play on their home setups. They're having to use the equipment provided, so they're not on the familiar mouse, not on the familiar keyboard. And we are going to see this first safe zone go extremely far northwest again, not quite as far west. We're probably going to see it pull back a little bit more towards Dragon Lake, but we are going to see some similarities compared to that last match in Legends with some hill battles. We're going to have a little bit of mountainous area, some trees, and then there's a lot of open area there just northwest of Dragon Lake, which we see Rev Hamas hanging out next to already in the safe zone, which feels good if you don't have a car, if you're already there.
This is exactly kind of what you were saying. This is very similar to what we did just recently see play out with some of the best players in the world for Legends, so we'll have to see what these challengers can do with this scenario. But now that we've talked about the ring a little bit and we know how that portion of the game will start to play out, a big thing to talk about for all of our new viewers tuning in right now is what exactly these players are going about right now. We can see that 2 kills did go down. That just happened because these players landed in close proximity. They did what had to be done and they went for the kill. But the thing to talk about now is how they are going about looting. Now during this first opening phase, scavenging is absolutely everything. Have you noticed any differences between these actual for the Challenger series, between the Legend series at all, Supersonic?
I think a couple people are more willing within the Challenger series to go ahead and start separating earlier. You'll see things in Legends. All-Stars definitely, they just kind of would sit there and loot and not take off from each other. We saw some really early fights there. But here we're going to see some guys that are maybe not ready to fight. Some of the Legends are a little bit more confident knowing that that other guy's not trying to fight me yet. Unless you land in the same building, being close isn't necessarily a bad thing. You just need to know what that other person's doing. And in Legends, you can expect certain plays from the guys early in the game. You can predict most of the time how that's going to play out. Here, you don't really know what each guy's thinking, so this one can be a little bit more awkward for players, I guess, and they end up splitting apart and trying to get more distance between each other early.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we see as well is just a faster paced beginning sometimes, because one of the big things in Legends is that powder keg type of deal, like the all or nothing kind of mentality. All of a sudden a kill goes off, a player that has good knowledge on the map, knows where a lot of players are located, is going to try to crash in and pick off a weaker player, try to get a pinch in maybe as well. So all of a sudden you start seeing a lot of kills very quickly. But during that phase, the first phase, this looting phase that we're in right now, for a Legends player, they are just they're very methodical, as you put it, trying to get everything to try to create makeshifts and things like that, so it lasts just that little bit longer. But now jumping on board with Xantrix.
Yeah, Xantrix, the only player actually playing from ISM. He's actually, ISM's one of the teams that plays in my private server that we just launched recently. So these guys have been doing fairly well there. He's the only one from his team, so he's got to go ahead and show up for the ISM boys today and take it home.
Xantrix inside of the truck is going to try to do just that. No players around Xantrix right now. So if you're in this scenario, do you try to rotate over to a POI, or are you just trying to get to safety?
I mean, right now you're trying to edge out and just come in. The gas is still a few seconds away from releasing. This first circle takes the longest to close. They still have enough time. A lot of these guys, as we said before, guys that are playing in these comp servers, they're guys that have been in the community that just maybe weren't invited. They still know the pacing. This is going to be closer to that of a Legends match than it is to an All-Stars match. So they're trying to find out where everybody else is. We saw that a lot of just trying to figure out the landscape, the lay of the land. Where are guys at? What's the safest route? Once you figure out where people are, you can kind of read the land and see where the ridges are, where the mountains are, and what is the safest route or most cover I can provide myself while getting to that safe zone. You want to protect the car, protect your resources. So these guys are going to go ahead and try and do a more methodical rotation.
Definitely agree, though, with what you said about how this is going to play out similar to Legends in a lot of ways. The one thing that is undeniably similar, though, to what we saw in All-Stars is that wide variance in player skill. You know, you're going to see some of the players that are on the private server that do really know a lot of that pacing. But then maybe some of these players that just queued up that were attendees at TwitchCon, maybe they have a lot of hours in, but they haven't necessarily gotten the practice in with the new changes that have come into the weapon. So we'll see that when we actually start to see more of the shots ran out.
I mean, definitely. There's probably a few players here that were playing for a while and maybe took a break from the game, and the combat patch came out recently. Maybe they got a few hours in before getting here, but there's probably people that have more hours on the combat patch than others in this match.
We will have to see that as we start to see more of the combat actually going out. Snooty G inside of that camper for just a little bit, but it is going to be Lethal Jake who gets our attention here, and we can see Lethal Jake having a pretty decent setup, but still no vehicle, looking for some body armor as well. How important do you think it is to actually get the vehicle right now and this particular setup?
The vehicle's huge every game. The vehicle just gives you a lot more options. You're able to ride the gas a lot easier. You're able to kind of stay out of the middle and out of the craziness that happens. The middle of the safe zone tends to be in these challengers, and the Legends is where people rotate to if they don't have a car, and they do it early so that they have less distance to travel once the next safe zone comes out. With a car, as long as you have good spots to go ahead and hide it and protect it, you can go ahead and rotate really late, especially if you've got a cop car. With the quickness of it, you can rotate extremely late and stay ahead of the gas. So, and we saw that play out a lot for All-Stars. I mean, we saw Glitter take down fourth yesterday doing really good rotations and basically just holding dead pockets on the map because everybody's in the middle.
Yeah, that is a big thing as well when you talk about what Glitter did do. Rotating around, trying to find those pockets. A big fight going down here between Wild and Rev. We already talked about Rev Hamas being a great player so far throughout this entire Challenger series. Using the corner of this building to keep an eye line on Wild. Now may go in for the shots. Has that Molotov cocktail thrown out. Going to try to bait Wild out from that back area. Wild going to be able to move, though, down that hill, taking some damage from this fire, but has not exposed himself yet. Yeah, he can actually see the fire. Going to use the smoke to close space a little bit. Wild, though, with a decent amount of cover, but seeing that smoke go out, starts to move back, takes just a little bit of damage there before getting over to this tree.
Yeah.
Rev's still shrouded by this smoke. getting into the car and getting out of here.
Yeah, making a quick play there in the Jeep to go ahead and decide that he just doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. He's already had to throw out quite a few throwables. He's thrown out a few Molotovs, and as we've talked about before with the weight changes to those, that's an expensive item to get rid of. You typically want to hold on to those and use them only when absolutely needed, and having to throw that many early isn't something you want to do.
Going to cost him a little bit potentially as he actually does get into future fights here in our Challengers match number 1.
He does want the fight still, though. He actually comes back for it. He was trying to find an angle to go ahead and fire up into Wild, but Wild did go ahead and rotate back around the other side of that cabin to a safer position, but he might see him here. Rev trying to make a play here by swapping to the back seat to shoot out of it. We'll see if Wild steps up enough.
Yeah, one of the things, though, to note, Rev was one of those slayers. So we may see Rev just kind of being a little bit more aggressive with some of these fights. We are down to 71 players here already. Mitch Gaming going to let out a few shots into a vehicle here. This time it's going to be Crossover, another one of those aggressive players, and definitely fitting that we do see the weapon that he has equipped there is his fist. Rev back inside of the Jeep, going to be moving up. We see another Jeep here on the hill as well. Rev going to pop out, try to pop some shots through the back window here. This time it's going to be at the Subsy. No connection, though, is going to be gained. Subsy back inside of this Jeep after the shots are done being fired.
Yeah, Subsy can go ahead and take off here. Zach out in the open, looking for somebody to take a fight. It looks like he may have just take a shot there, or he had gotten away from a fight and just needed to get out to reload the gun. Sometimes you got to get into the car with a quickness and get out of there. Nadraj or Jordan down there all the way to the south. Looks like he's moving fairly quick. I think he does have a vehicle. He should be able to get out of there. Operation is not moving that quickly. Operation... I mean, there he goes. It paused for a second. He must have stopped to roll a heel. It looked like he just dead stopped for a second. But
not a bad idea, though.
Those guys will make it out.
Yeah, you want to be able to roll a little bit of healing there because you are going to be moving through that gas. They should be able to get through, though, without a problem. We're going to see that gas advance, though, in just about 2 minutes here. Taking a peek now at the residential area, we are going to see, oh, man, these are some players, though, that we actually did see quite a lot out of.
Yeah, Rajbabe here got a couple kills yesterday in his qualifier. We'll see if he ends up getting any more here today. I am EXP, though, getting some shots thrown his way by Reptar, who we did not see play on the first or second day. He qualified in through PAX West, so Reptar there throwing some of his first shots of the tournament.
So I actually got a chance to talk to Reptar up on the couch at the very beginning of the tournament when we were talking to all the players who did qualify. And at Reptar, it turns out we actually have a bunch of mutual friends in the competitive gaming scene. He's been around for quite some time, not only in H1Z1, moved over to H1Z1 relatively recently, but he is the type of guy who, he's been in the pro scene. He knows what it takes to actually grind, and I think he's also the type of player that really will shine in a solo format like this. So keep your eye on Reptar. Did qualify on that road to TwitchCon. This is the first time we're really going to get to see what Reptar can do. Now seeing Sharky for the first time since the beginning of the match, and we can see that Sharky has actually moved over to this POI, this little campground that is set up, and he seems to be quite comfortable there. Crossover is quite a few meters away from him, about 100.
Ooh, it looks like he wants to take the fight. He's going to hop out. Mitch is throwing a grenade here, trying to get rid of that vehicle. Subsy now going to be stuck inside without a vehicle. And you can see Mitch here actually for a second there. He has a 2-hit available. He's protecting it, though. He's protecting his resources. He'd rather expend bandages or med kits rather than expend the 2-hit this early in the match. If he gets hit by a grenade, it doesn't save him. If he gets hit twice in the head, it doesn't save him. So having it on isn't worth it to him yet. Subsy going to return that favor, though, and take out that vehicle. Mitch now stuck on foot as well.
And now moving through the house is going to be Subsy. We saw a lot of close range fights. Actually, I remember it was Challengers qualifier number 2. There were a lot of close range fights that actually did go out. I was casting that one with Squigglepoo. We'll have to see if that ends up becoming a thing here again. Expecting to see a lot of the fights, though, that we actually did see in the last All-Stars match. Very hill-based, getting into these valleys, getting the high ground, trying to get as much information as possible. But Supersonic, we are going to see the way that this safe zone does pull.
Yeah, that safe zone's going to go ahead and pull down to the south, which is definitely a sigh of relief for Jordan as long as he has enough healing to go ahead and get out of there. He will hit max toxicity before he gets out, but one of the things to note on that is that it's still a very early gas wave. It's not doing a ton of damage yet. He can out-heal this still, so he still has a chance to make it out as long as he has enough healing to continue to support himself getting out of there.
And one of the things, it's one of those, I guess it's somewhat of a double-edged sword, I guess. That's probably not the right word for it, but if you're that far out, that most likely means you had your share of the loot in the area that you were in. So in theory, should be able to have enough healing to keep that rolling as you actually do move through the gas. Obviously need to worry about toxicity quite a bit though.
Yeah, toxicity starting to build up, and it really takes away options from you in the late game. It starts doubling the damage of the gas, and these gas waves get stronger and stronger each wave they go through. So at that end game, having max toxicity on you is just brutal. It's impossible to out heal.
Yeah, we see a lot of people choosing in the late game when there may be only 4 players left up. Everybody's trying to take a corner. You run out of smokes. You start bouncing back and forth in between that gas to try to obscure your opponent's vision. That is an option that will be taken off the table here. Hopefully, though, with the amount of time that had by themselves in that part of the map that wasn't as inhabited, has some really good ammunition, has some really good, just a good kit moving forward into that late game, because that will be the best asset after you do have to face that toxicity.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got that first airdrop, or I guess this would be the second airdrop coming in right now. We'll see if anybody decides to go for it. It's going to land right there between Party Girl and G Murda. And these things have a ton of options in there. You pick up your body armor, you can pick up gas cans, first aid kits, the hunting rifle, which we saw a ton of work out of from a bunch of different players. Bombs right over the top of Party Girl. Not able to take down Party Girl, though. Party Girl narrowly escaping death there.
Party Girl now is very close to be able to potentially take that. We do see Blorn being one of these players that was somewhat good at getting in locations and staying there. Qualified relatively late, though, in our series. I believe it was probably game 4 that we actually did see Blorn coming in. Now Mitch Gaming moving around, still pretty close to Subsy. Subsy inside of this rancher, only about 50 meters away.
You notice that? So Subsy got a kill earlier. Somebody came in and must have tried to take the building from him, and it looks like Jordan does go down. Didn't quite have enough healing to get himself out of the gas. Did not make it out. But there is a vehicle there. So no hunting rifle available in this one, but it is going to have that 2-hit and the gas can, so still worth if you don't have any kind of armor. A 2-hit is definitely worth picking up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that drop's always going to be worth it if you are in the right situation to go for it. It tends to be very risky, obviously, because it is such a high value point on the map. But even if it doesn't have that hunting rifle, it is going to be worth it. But you've said it before, it's just going to feel way worse when you actually do open up that crate and you do not see that hunting rifle inside.
Yeah, absolutely. When you go up and you hit tab to check it out, and Senshu, they're going to go down to Slappy with that assist from Yount. But when you get up there and you're hoping for it and you put yourself out there and it's not there, it does feel bad. Solid Molotov there to drop it right on the back. Zoltan drops one onto Sharky. Sharky has to go inside to heal. He does make it inside, though, to heal up. And Zoltan now going to turn his attention to the car. Sharky not peeking, so Zoltan going to take this opportunity to go ahead and just throw out a gas nade, continue to put a little bit of damage into Sharky. He's not doing it chunk damage, but he is just slowly eating away at him and then eating away at the vehicle as well.
Yeah, one of the things too that you can see is Zoltan. This is interesting. When you see those shots coming in, you start to assume that maybe Zoltan isn't going to plan to take the vehicle and might play a little bit more defensive, use a little bit of discipline, and actually get out of the fight and just say, okay, maybe I didn't actually get the kill, but at the end of the day, did quite a bit of damage to one of their most valuable resources. But Zoltan there for a second looks like maybe going to steal the car. Ultimately, though, does decide to do that and rotate out. Helmet going to get knocked off here. Shot still coming in from Party Girl. Party Girl was very close to... Oh, wow. All of a sudden, the tides have turned. Just one shot away from being able to take down Party Girl. Party Girl trying to get a heal rolling here. Murda trying to move in and finish this off. Getting some healing of his very own.
Ooh, Pone, our winner of the boxing match from the first day, the one to start that entire trend, going to go down to a grenade from Zachary. And Sharky going to find himself a kill onto J-Rod with a huge assist from Crossover. So Sharky actually going to find himself a steal and net himself a kill there in that match.
Party Girl and Murda will still be engrossed in that combat. Zachary going to move back into this tree line. Jeep going to be parked here for just a second. Zachary moving all over the place, trying to get a little bit of information, using those trees as cover. Should be fine here. Crossover going to jump into the binoculars there, and you can see instantly looking at a car, wants to make sure that no one is sitting inside trying to hide. Could potentially get some rifling action into there if they are not expecting it. That's one of those things that's really dangerous when you talk about players looking for dead pockets, right? They can move in, try to sit down inside of the car. If someone's actually using their binoculars, they may be able to find it. But just like this, all of a sudden getting all the loot out of that drop. It looked like Party Girl was going to be able to get it, but when the contest comes in, Party Girl has to move back, losing that gunfight just a little bit. Doesn't go down, but loses some of the most valuable loot inside of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is that these bounty systems are still in place. So top kills in the Challenger Series is $1,000. So these guys still have a chance, even if they don't necessarily win the match, to possibly lock it down. But as we've seen, typically the guy that wins the match is going to go ahead and take down the most kills. And we have shots already coming out here from Zach. He is extremely far ahead in this fight against Thanks for Dying. And it looks like he's decided to go ahead and try and make the press on him as he pushes up onto Thanks. Going to go for the throwable grenade. Comes out. See if it gets him just off the mark.
But if Zach can move in here, is just one shot away for taking down Thanks for Dying. Looks like he may move back just a little bit here. Actually going to decide to throw one more grenade in, and this one should not find home, but we can see Thanks for Dying moves right into Zach's crossfire. Moving back over to the camper now. Zach trying to make the decision if it is worth pursuing it. One of the big things that you mentioned, though, top kills, during every single Challengers qualifier that I casted, top kills did go to the winner.
I had a couple that did not, only because they tossed the win.
But it was always top 10.
On a fist fight, but
yeah,
yes.
But it was always top 10.
They were always top 10, almost always, because as we've said, when you get into that top 20, top 15, a little bit more space opens up, a little more breathing room. You can isolate one-on-ones. You put yourself in a better position to take fights, or you sit out, wait for two guys to start fighting, and then try and take the shots and clean both of them up. We see Class there getting some shots down into Reptar. Reptar, the winner of the PAX West, to get here on the road to TwitchCon, and the Molotov now going to come out from Class to try and do a little bit of zone denial onto that smoke nade of Reptar.
Reptar was absolutely relying on the ENAS there. Still does take two shots, though. Has to put down the smoke to try to get out of that situation. And you can see just a superior line of fire coming in from his opponent, just being that high up. Lorne going to use that truck for a second there. Blastlord going to get a kill here on Dr. Drew TV, the Bison.
Yep, we've got Rev Hamas coming in. He has swapped that shotgun. He is looking for that close range fight, but he is going to get sprayed down by McLaughlin with that AK. Again, we're starting to see that, the shotgun versus the AK, and the AK is doing work. The problem is with the shotgun is if you're swapping to it, you need to already be in that one pump range. The guys that typically swap a little bit early as they come in typically end up getting sprayed down by that AK. Free Sticky Rice here, gonna lose his helmet. Hasn't thrown a new one on quite yet. Actually, does have it on.
To talk about the shotgun, though, as well. Hey, and for those bad angles, one of the things that is nice is this versus card that pops up on the bottom portion of your screen. So if you are new to viewing H1Z1, or even if you have been viewing H1Z1 for a while, this is a new feature that we do have. You can actually see what is in the hand of the person that we have jumped on board with, and you can also see if they do have that helmet or the body armor on. But to go back to what you were saying about the shotgun, most of the success that we have seen with the shotgun so far, there have been a few peak battles, but it really has been those players that were playing more defensively, already inside of the building, and just waiting for that 50-50 match. And that will always be where that weapon does shine, but the AK has just been so impressive throughout all three of the tournaments that we have seen here. And we see some shots coming in just a few seconds ago from our winner of the Tokyo Game Show, and now it is going to be McLaughlin, the player that was able to take out Rev Hamas in combat with Poncho.
Yeah.
They're in pretty similar places. McLaughlin has probably an extra shot in, but jumping back on board, we will see it is Homyu up.
Yeah.
Inside.
Homyu from the winner of the Tokyo Game Show now looks like he's trying to get onto his vehicle and get out of there and get away from Kev Kid. And it looks like Kev Kid's just going to go ahead and decide to disengage from this one. Homyu JP is going to have to make a move, though. He is on the edge of the gas. We have about 35 seconds coming up until that next gas wave moves. So we're going to start seeing some more motion. We'll probably get another kill or two. That gas usually being the thing that starts these battles.
And now the ring is going to be closing just a little bit. It has pulled slightly away from Dragon Lake and move slightly away from the mountains that we have seen as well. So we're going to have is this area pretty well open here?
I mean, it's open, but you can kind of see those lines noting the elevation change. So there are ridge lines, there's rocks, there are things to use there, just not thick forest. You'll get spotty trees, spotty rocks. There's still a little bit to work with. We're losing a little bit of that safe zone, though. And this airdrop here, again, we're not going to have a hunting rifle in it. Another one of those ones where you're going to roll up and you might get the body armor, but you're going to feel really bad that the hunting rifle isn't in it.
Yeah, could you imagine if we saw that happen to Karma every single time?
That would have really messed with Karma's game yesterday. yesterday. Like, not if he would have gone for the 22 of them that he went for and got no hunting rifles.
He got pretty much every single one. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch All-Stars, yeah, we saw Karma, who is a Call of Duty world champion, actually just able to get to those drops over and over again and get the hunting rifles and just snipe over and over again. Hey, that was the one thing, though. His play style seemed very reliant on those hunting rifles. Here today, we don't see any players going for that, but they definitely would be punished. Bloodshot Owen's going to go down here. All of a sudden, 55 players do remain, and this tends to be the area where we really start to see things heat up. And just like that, Delta going to be going down here to Stovers, and we can see some players clustered up right here. The gas going to force them into each other. Trozma looked really great yesterday.
Yeah, Trozma was going off yesterday. We'll
Another
see if
Slayer,
Moose is able to get out of there. You can see that the damage from the gas has increased. You can see how quickly Moose and Mayhus's health is going down. He needs to rotate out of there. I think he might have been better to push up onto the edge. He has just a little bit of space there. I'm not sure from his angle if he was able to see that, but SoCal Viper going to land himself a kill onto Kev Kid, who looks like he was in a pinch. He still had a bit of damage from Hamu JP. Ryan now in a fight with SoCal Viper. Takes the helmet, takes the body armor off of SoCal. Ryan ahead on this. Going to throw out a smoke, though. He doesn't have much cover to work with, and he's getting tagged up right now by SoCal.
SoCal was far behind in this fight, able to get behind the tree and get that helmet back on. Ryan now inside of the smoke. SoCal Viper, though, being very disciplined, realizing that there are players in the brushes very close by, not going to go too far to try to get the kill here. We are going to see Eric pick up a kill, and just in time to see Orange Morange, that is one of our third Road to TwitchCon qualifiers, be able to pick up a kill now inside of the bathroom, trying to get those heals rolling. Trozma still in combat now with Moose in my hoose.
Oh, wow. That is literally a Kobe. That was a three-pointer, drops it, it explodes right on Moose's head, and that is going to take Moose out of this first round of the finals.
SoCal Viper not in a great situation here. Managed to get back up in that fight with Ryan after being far behind, but you can see Ryan out in the wings has managed to heal up considerably, but shots coming in from all angles. We may see that player go down in just a short moment here. Another player from Mortem going to be tossing out those grenades.
Yeah, he's just kind of throwing things up there, trying to see if maybe the player's hard pushing into him just to kind of hold him off, and he is going to hop in that cop car and start dipping out. Going to make a run for it, takes a few shots, but Trozma finds himself another kill onto the Crazed K.
Yeah, Trozma was that Slayer. I think Trozma, if you were going to look at the results from yesterday and make an assumption on who may be able to take this first $1,000 in match number one, definitely would be one of your top players. And you can see we did miss the fight, but Reptar and Homeu JP, these two players both qualified on the road to TwitchCon. They have met in this battle, and it seems Reptar has come out on top. Now a smoke is going to be down for Frankie.
I mean, it's definitely something to look at, too, is that those guys, the way that they qualified in, for anybody that's unaware, is that they had to play at that LAN event in a public match on whatever equipment was provided, and the highest kill win that was playing at the event would get sent. So these guys had to do high kill matches while in a LAN environment, playing online though from that LAN to qualify. So they're definitely guys that can slay.
Yeah, they can definitely slay indeed. We're going to see SoCal Viper still hanging on here, still not in a great position, going to be inside the gas here, and look at just how much damage that gas can do, but finally getting the pre-heals going. We'll be able to move out of the gas now, potentially be able to survive in that fight if we do still have both players pinning SoCal Viper in. Rye Gaming now moving around this building, and we can see this is an absolute warehouse party. About 5 players clustered around there. Astral Relic trying to get some shots into crossover, one of our boxers here, but just like that, we are going to see just getting melted. Absolute lasers being shot out here, falling behind in that fight. Astral Relic will go down. Seeing that off of Twitch TV, Snotty G, but Snotty G manages to pick up another one, or gets taken down by Flowers. I was like, how on earth did Snotty manage to get that? Flowers is able to clean up house there.
Yeah, Flowers now taking some shots back into the direction of Blorn. Blorn right there on the edge of the gas, going to be forced to move out, and he is going to get eliminated by Flowers. Sloth finds himself kill on Impact Logan, and McLaughlin going to finally go down to Noble Spirits, and Rooney going to find himself a shotgun kill onto PD527.
Rooney getting a kill here is going to be big. Crossover goes down here, though. Now we have only 31 players left. Gas about to advance here in about another minute 30. Wow,
return shots there just lighting them.
That was brutal. We see the helmet pop right off.
It's always interesting to see guys do that. It's very hard to do that and be able to be able to pull that off when getting hit, to be able to turn around, just return fire and hit on target. It's very hard to do, especially here with all the pressure on you. Reptar throwing at the wrong tree, thought that Class was inside the smoke still. Class using that to try and kind of feint and then backing up. Going to throw another smoke down over himself though. As he gets healed up, we'll see if Reptar decides to push in. He does have an SMG out, looking like he wants that aggressive push.
Well, the thing with Reptar that we do notice, even though it didn't pay off that last time, definitely trying to aim towards that tree, knowing that that's most likely where the player will be, trying to get some cover when the smoke does dissipate. So that is a very good sign, seeing Reptar crush in right now. And it appears that Reptar is going to go for that close range fight. Getting some shots in, but ultimately Class is going to outclass him, taking him down. Class at about 50% can move back into that smoke without a problem. We have quite a few players up here, 25 to be exact, and that gas is advancing very shortly. We are going to have an absolute explosion here. Sloth, inside of a very damaged Jeep, is going to move close to this smoke, trying to get behind a little bit of cover here. Back on board with Flowers. We saw Flowers pick up 2 kills so far in this game, and it looks like Trozma might be the next target. Trozma also picking up 2 kills. Slayer versus Slayer now inside of the smoke. We have one player going to run right out, another player going to camp there for a while. Flowers losing the helmet here.
Yeah, Flowers going to lose that helmet. We do have basically a tie all the way through. Nobody at 3 kills yet, so that kill bounty is in play. Meowth extremely low there, down to about 2 or 3%. He does have heals going off, and we are going to catch Orange Morange getting love wins in the back there. Party Girl 420 going to take out Subsea, Promethean, and Party Girl, though, going to drop to Dark Team Paint and Mitch's Gaming as we hop on board with Wild.
And we saw Wild a while ago, back at the beginning of the game, being really smart about which fights that were entered. Dark Team Paint going to go down, Zach going to go down, now just 17. That's another one for Flowers. Flowers probably pulling ahead right now, may be able to win the $1,000, but it's all going to come down to the next few kills. Wild sinking a few shots into that police car, and we can see that it was getting very low very quickly. Players clustered towards the top portion of your screen right now, rotating around as the gas does advance.
Yeah, gas going to start pushing in just a bit here. We'll see it start to close in, and players like Flowers are going to have to hop out and start taking some fights. There's not a lot of tree cover, so they're going to have to take some of these rocks and just kind of play. This is where you start to use a rock and start maybe deciding to use your vehicle as cover for your other side. And Cam Soda down to 1%. Not sure if he can get the heal off. He is not going to be able to pull it. Sharky going to get that. Zachary gets a kill on the Wild. We're down to 12 players as Mitch's Gaming goes down to Noble.
Everybody is dying now. We're seeing the smoke coming out, players trying to preserve their lives right now. About every player on the map inside of the shroud of this smoke. Mordum with a pretty decent line on 2 players here, Full Nelson, and we have Zachary in that right portion of your screen, but it's going to be Rethink and Rooney right now, who most likely are going to take each other down first. Spotty in a good position to potentially have a pick there, come in with a pinch. Rethink going to be the player that we jump on board with now. We can see that more throwables are coming out here. Everybody is just using everything inside of their inventory. Noble Spirit's going to be the next one to go down. Only 8 players do remain. Poncho moving into the smoke. He may be able to see Sharky here. Sharky trying to look through the smoke inside of a smoke of zone. Smoke just so much thicker here in this current combat patch.
Yeah, the smokes are just so huge, and we see them especially playing out. Not so much in All-Stars, but when the Legends and this Challenger Series with these guys that play a ton, we're absolutely seeing them make a huge impact to the gameplay in these final safe zones. Poncho here taking shots and connecting onto Rethink there as Rethink comes by, and then Zachary finds a kill onto Sharky.
And we're going to see Poncho maybe just fall down here, trying to get some space in, and it's going to be Zachary who ultimately does cut down Poncho. You can see Rooney there also maybe going to get that pinch off if we didn't see the kill come in. When it did, Rethink never able to heal back up. Coming into this fight severely disadvantaged. It's ultimately going to be Zachary. Zachary lighting up the kill feed here, and all of a sudden we are going to see another player with 5 kills starting to maybe pull ahead. We did see a few players there with 5 kills. If Zachary can hold on, maybe finding a dominating position in this overall series, we're going to see 3 games. Oh, flashbang going to come out here. Rooney gets into the cop car just in time. A little bit of damage coming in. He needs to notice quickly that this cop car could explode. Shoots out the cop car. I thought he was going to try to make it explode there. We see the kill come in. It's Spotty goes down. Full Nelson goes down. Rooney instantly into the smoke. Going to try to get the heals going. Only 3 players are still up, and 2 of them are primed to take down Rooney. Zachary gets that 6th kill, and just like that, might be able to take the $1,000 and first place. Only 1 more player up, and it is Murda.
Yeah, Zachary versus G Murda here. We'll see how this one plays out. That smoke nade should be fading out here fairly soon. You see flashbangs coming out, trying to see if they can maybe get a flash, and and get a flank on each other, and they are going to go ahead and spot each other right here. Zachary going for that wide play around the side, turns, gets a shot into G-Murder. G-Murder swapping to the shotgun, going to throw a flashbang out, not going to be close enough to connect. Steps out way too far with the shotgun. Zachary going to be able to spray him down with that AK and take down game one.
And that is 7 kills as well for our #1 seed. He may be just getting $1,000 here to kick off this series. We're going to have 2 more matches. All of the points will be cumulative. But hey, getting that $1,000 to start things off as well as first place, got to feel pretty good and definitely going to bode well moving forward into our Challengers tournament. So let's take a peek right now at the results and see how everything did shake out and see where our players stand. Really impressive play coming out, 7 kills. Not the highest that we've seen, not the 10 that we're hoping for, Jason, but Zachary gotta feel great here.
Hard to do those 10 kills in those types of safe zones. You've really got to get into the super chaotic ones to get to that point, but he does show up with 7 kills, makes $1,000, and puts himself in a great position to go into the next match. So he's got to feel pretty comfortable. That shakes the nerves out. G-Murda in second, Rooney taking down third. We've got a ton of guys here that are just feeling really good.
Flowers was one of those players that was paying a lot of attention to when we actually did see Flowers inside of the qualifiers, looking really good in that 10th place right now. Potentially keep an eye on Flowers. Could jump up here just a little bit.
Yeah,
we have Kelly, though, on the floor right now with Zachary. Want to hear how he managed to slay so much and come in first place. Kelly, what does Zachary have to say?
Zach, man, first place in game 1, that's got to be pretty good. Are you pretty confident now going into game 2 and 3, or are you still staying safe?
I'm pretty, I think I'm going to stay safe still. I feel like I'm putting myself in a really good position, though.
But what set you apart from the rest of the players that allowed you to win this game?
I was able to come behind a lot of players late in the game, which just made me just rain fire on everyone in the back.
But even though winning first place, there's still people that are going to be gunning for you, especially trying to kill you pretty quickly because it's an accumulative score between game 1, 2, and 3. So do you think anyone's going to try and gun for you?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Is there anything you want to say to all the fans watching right now and watching at home?
Shout out Sarwi. He's my biggest fan.
Oh, well, good luck, Zachary, going into the game #2, guys, and do not go anywhere because we have the finals for the qualifiers in the Challenger Series, guys, coming up right now.
Very excited to get that underway, and we were actually starting to look at the stats during that interview.